Okay, before presentation and all those things, formal stuff, we will do it a little bit later, and let's start playing a little bit. So we already chit-chat a little bit, so let's play. So we are using annotation. So for those people they are not familiarized, so we put a small sign here in your right. So view options, so annotate, and let's play a bingo. So and see, so I think so everyone participate in online calls, Zoom, Meet, Teams, whatever you did the last 2 years from home or from the beach or from wherever you are. I would like to do and check and see what kind of things you already hear in those calls. Already hears or so. So let's play the bingo. So everyone is start to familiarize with annotate. So you can start to check so different things based on what you hear or listen or see in the calls you participate in the last year. Let's see. Okay, nice. Let's see. I was not mute. That is interesting. Side conversation, not mute. Nice. Come on, seriously? You have to take a call from the closet of the bathroom to find my space? Come on. Okay.
Too many questions. Too many questions there.
Okay. Okay, nice. So nobody did. Okay. Yes.
Yes, Joe. Joe might have my pizza. Okay, good.
Nice. Okay, that's good. So I hope you listen and saw a lot of stuff during the different calls. So let's go to the formality. Thank you so much. Let me clean up that. Once more. So, 2 seconds. Okay. And clear. Okay. Let's move. So, as Neil said, so we will talk a little bit. So, what is our experience in one of the big organizations we are working right now, and about the good news. So, we are renewable. So, we get the renew from the next phase. So, that is the good news for us. So, we should go before the call. So, hope to add value from the Agile team. So, this transformation is what's really big. We touch talent, we touch change management, we touch the IT and the business part. We will try to focus the lesson learned in one part. So how to build the Agile team for this big transformation. So that it will be the subject for today. So I will let a small introduction from Gonzalo. So if you, Gonzalo, you want to introduce.
Yes, of course. Hi everyone. I'm Gonzalo. I'm actually living in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I have a background in engineering. I was software developer for something like 15 years. So, and then I moved into the management, and in the end, I become an agile expert. I work in InViv for almost a year, something like 9 months. Which is another big organization there where they started I started with them the transformation journey. And I also have strong experience in fintech. I think that's pretty much. I'm a father. I have an 8-year son. That's it. I give you Omar.
Good. So I am father of 2 kids. So I live in Montreal. My wife is from Argentina also. My first son also is from Argentina. And my daughter is 100% Canadian. So at the professional level, you can read or see in LinkedIn. So I will not go deep. So I am next McKinsey. For all those people know McKinsey, so I try to keep the good things from McKinsey related to agile transformation. I try to put out the more tricky part from McKinsey. I will not say bad, but the tricky part from McKinsey about agile transformation, and I try to improve the good part. So I am doing transformation in the last 10 years. I started in a small startup. I started as Agile coach, product owner. I was an old developer. So I I am lucky. I did transformation around the world. So the last 5 years spent in McKinsey allowed me to do transformation in Canada, Australia, Japan, and UK. So that is was the lucky part for me about McKinsey. So finish the formality. So let's start. So what we prepare today for you is trying to see, okay, what are the key points or the takeaway we are expecting you get today from this call? So the more important is we can work and learn and we can have fun. I can tell you, so we are in this client for 1 year and something. We will stay for 6 months or 8 months more. We need to define the end of the contract, but it's already, we will stay. So, and I can tell you, we got a lot of stress and a lot of fun. And that is really important you have in your job. If not, it's boring. So the other tips, so is some tips for your next big transformation, wherever you are part of the team, wherever you are the designer of the big transformation. And also we are taking 4 tools we use with the teams in the current client and we use very often. And we want to share it with you. So like that, you can take it in the toolbox. So that doesn't mean you need to use it in the same way you are using, but at least you know how we use it and you have it in your toolbox. And after that, you can decide the best time to use it. So that is the 3 takeaways. So for this 60 minutes we prepared with Gonzalo. So I hope you like it. So we will see if we can accomplish those 3 takeaways. So first, some distinction about what's mean big organization. So we are talking about big organization, and it depends with who you talk. You can talk about the dinosaur, you can talk about the traditional organization, you can talk about the big one, banks and all those stuff. So that's mean big organization. What is mean? They didn't born as a startup. They are not the Netflix, they are not the Facebook, they are not the Google organization where they are already born with the agile mindset, at least in mind. And when we are talking about agile, we are talking about products. So if we are in the middle of Google meetings, so the people will understand. So when we arrive to those kind of organizations, in a lot of them, so we arrive and say, okay, you need to create product. Oh, yes, sure. What is that? We are not doing products, we are doing bottlers. So
Perfect.
we don't do products. So that is to give you an idea. So what happened when we go to the big organization, and we want to put that definition because always we have the discussion in the community, oh, in the big organization, they are not doing agile. Okay, yes, it's depending what this mean agile for you. So they are not 100% agile. So they are very small, big organization doing 100% agile. Why? Because they didn't born like that. But our goal, at least from my point of view, is not try to convert the organization in agile. So my goal is to say, okay, what is the North Star for that organization? Okay, try to move that organization in that direction. If we arrive after 6 months or 1 year, move that organization in that direction, I think so it's a good success. After that, we will try to push it more and more and more. And at one moment, they will do more agile and more agile thinking. But for the moment, we are focused trying to push those organizations to move to the North Star. And the other thing, so we want to define, so what is value? So when we are agile coach or a scrum master or product owner or something like that, there are new roles for those organizations. So they don't have the spreadsheet to say, okay, how to evaluate those people? Okay, what is the value added in those organizations from an agile coach? A lot of people, they are taking agile coach and they don't know why. It's because it's a trend, because they have a strong team or something like that, but they don't know how to evaluate those people. So it's for that. So we define value to try to represent. So what is value depending on your audience? So, and sometimes for the agile coach, value means, okay, we have a self-organized team. That's good. I am very proud when the people self-organize in the teams we are working. Doesn't matter if the team is the executive team, is the product team, or is the talent team. But when they start to self-organize, we are proud. But what is the value when we are presenting that to the CEO or the C level? So, oh, the people is self-organized. Yes, nice. What? what I say, I cannot say that to the stockholders and get a nice congratulation. So what we are saying to that, so it's for that. So we are trying to define value based on what is the audience, and that is what we are trying to do. And the value for those audience, unfortunately, is in money. So we are trying to put some stuff on the table to think about it, how to represent money when we are working with teams. And it's for that. So we want to define what is mean value and what is mean big organization before the presentation. So let's start to play a little bit and to have a conversation more than me talking too much. Gonzalo, do you want to continue?
Yes, of course. I will share a link in the chat, a Miro link. Does anyone ever use Miro? Okay, perfect. So I shared the link there in the chat. So please enter here, and we will do a little bit exercise here. You know,
okay,
I will try to bring everyone here. I see 6 people here, and we have like 29 in the call. So let's wait a little bit.
If you can use the Miro for any reason, you can use the chat or maybe go off mute. We can help.
Yes,
of course.
And if you have problem to go to the link, please let us know, so we will help you out.
Perfect. Okay, we have like 16 people. I think that we can start. Here we have the same question that we had in the presentation. So what we'll ask you to you people if you take a post-it. I'm right here, like your 2 reasons, you know, and that you think why big companies struggle with transformations. Okay. Are we okay with that?
Okay, looks
yes.
Yeah, we see people there. Awesome.
Okay, I will share the link again.
Yeah, here. So the things that we're not seeing it on your screen, but we can see it on the.
Are you able to see my screen?
No, but not the Miro. We're just seeing your presentation right now.
Okay.
Not the Miro, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Share. Screen number 2.
Perfect. I will put like 6 minutes. Omar, do you think it's okay? 6 minutes?
Yes. Okay. Let's see what the people think about it, and after that we will do a chit chat and we share our experience, all those stuff. But the idea is to try to get also your voice.
Okay. Okay. Very good post-its. Yeah, I will start to moving them, you know. Expecting the way to change. Sorry?
Try to group it.
Yes, exactly. Agile role not defined, definition of value, and roles. I see roles here. Doing Agile, this is mindset, and this is mindset as well. Waterfall thinking, it's okay. Hot habits, I like this one. I can move it. Fear of change, unclear responsibility. Full supportive. Okay, lack of communication. Agile roles here. Only by hot habits. I'm going to apply to change. No standard training, no Agile coaches with the roles, trainings.
Interesting.
Yes, very good.
Fear of failure. That should be a very big one.
Fear of failure, yes. Yes.
Let's put it big, that one.
Cultural transformation focus. I like that. My financial value. Not change. We have roles. A little bit bigger this one. Communication here. Field value. And
Nice.
this
Full stop to right, so I think so it's a good sign now.
mindset. Okay. Well, okay, right?
Okay, that's nice.
Perfect.
So
Yes.
I guess everyone is right here. So doing agile versus agile, no culture transformation focus, no coach with roadmap vision and clear roles and responsibility, agile roles, no leadership, unable to adapt to change, stakeholder change requirement constantly. I never saw that, but I do believe the people put that. No proven result to show, lack of communication, knowing. That is really interesting. So let's see. I will show. So we have the same, very similar experience, and we saw all the stuff you marked. But one of the stuff we saw, and we saw every single day, is what is the urgent to change of those big organizations? We are talking about banking. So I have also a lot of experience in banking. So here in Canada, bankings, I don't know, I think there are 4, 5, 6 times doing agile transformation, digital transformation, whatever is the transformation name you want to put, they already did it. And you go to the bank and you see some small change, but for the amount of money they invest, we are expecting more change, and we don't see it. And one of the stuff, so we start to see, say, okay, they are successful right now. I don't see any bank closing, solve the problem in the US with the mortgage and all those stuff, but it doesn't happen like that. So I don't see a lot of banking closing. I don't see a lot of mining, so industry companies closing. So big people or big organization, they're always open. And when we are right there and we say, okay, it's a problem with the lack of communication, it's no unclear roadmap, all those stuff, I say, what you are talking about that? We are open the last 50 or 100 years. So that means we did something good because we are open yet. And that is the mindset we need to change, guys. And that is the thing, so we need to think about it when we are agile coach, because we participate in different organizations, and we know if they improve the communication, if they have a roadmap, if they have clear role and responsibility, what else? If they don't change the priority every time, so they will be more successful. But we are talking already with the organization, they are very successful. So how to create that pressure to change from the inside of the organization? And I think that is the challenge of all the people here when we start in an organization. So that is, okay, this is the time up from the...
Yes, sorry.
So that is what we need to create. So we need to really go to the organization, understand from where they are coming and where they want to go. So, and as for that, I say, my goal when I go to the organization is not change it and transform the organization in an agile organization, because I will get frustrated after 1 year. Not because it's impossible, if not because I don't want to get frustrated. So the first things we are going to do when we are going to the organization is say, what you want to become? That is the more difficult question for the organization to answer. What do you want to become? And it's there where that it will be or not start. And now a lot of organizations, they start to answer that. So they say, okay, what do you want to become? Okay, I want to be the ecosystem of this industry, or I want to become the #1 in retail, or I want to become the #1 in digital bank. Or okay, fine, let's put that as an North Star, and let's start to work from there. So if we want to start a transformation, I learn it in the bad way. But if I don't have the support of leadership, I don't go to the organization because it's set up for failure. I love to work with teams. A lot of teams start from the bottom, but the transformation itself, if they don't have big support, doesn't work. Doesn't work, and we are consultants. So we are there for 3 months, 6 months, doesn't work. That's it, that's all. We go out and we get another contract. But from the people inside, it's really frustrating. Because when we are working with teams, so the people like what we are doing. The people like to self-organize. The people like to take the leadership. The people like to do change. But after that, without the support, all those stuff die. So, and that is a big frustration. What do you think about it? So when you need to go and start a transformation, and don't say transform the full organization, okay? Do a transformation of one unit. What do you have in mind? How do you start? And that is the moment where you talk.
This is Gabriela. Thank you for bringing this discussion. Usually I start with a conversation with leadership and the disruptions that their industry is facing, because that is an external factor that they have to, take into consideration when they want that business agility and that transformation.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Thank you for sharing, Gabriela. Anyone else?
We have a very shy audience today, I think.
Yes.
Weird.
Come on. Anyone else?
Maybe can you repeat the question?
Yes. So where do you start when you need to start to do a transformation? So if you go to an organization, so the problem you put in the mirror is the problem we have everyone. So, but when you need to start the transformation, what is the first things you are doing? I only have the curiosity, so and I like the people share your experience.
Yes, no bad answers here.
Yeah, what we do is we try to see what that vision is, so then we can try to roadmap it and see who really it can impact and who's kind of like your sponsor for it and things like that. So there's a lot of things that people want, but if you don't have that sponsorship behind it, that's also important.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good, Isabel. So for example, by contract, so we put a sponsor at the level of the leadership team, and they are, by contract, they need to meet with us once a week. If not, we don't go in. So that is one of the main requirements. Why? Because we can get it wrong. So sometimes, so we, as an agile coach, as consultant, or Scrum Master, whatever is your role, so you can get it wrong. But we can get it wrong 1 week. Because the next week, we sit down with the sponsor or the sponsorship committee, and we reorganize and we prioritize, put the priority and put the right direction for the next week. So sponsorship is important, and they need to commit that sponsorship. So, and we put it by contract, because if not, they miss it. And after 3 or 4 weeks, we cannot meet that person, and in 2 or 3 months, we have complaints. Oh, you didn't do that. Oh, you didn't do that. Oh, you are in the wrong direction. Oh, you are, hey, my friend, it's your transformation, it's your organization. You need to set up the priority, not me. If not, I come here and I tell you what you need to do.
I think also identifying like change agents. So you've got your sponsor, your executive sponsor, then, but who are going to be the group of change agents that are going to support you across the organization? And that could be at the leadership level, but it could also be at multiple levels. So identifying change agents would be another one.
Yeah, for me, I would want to understand the pain points of the organization.
Mhm.
That's good. Good start. Okay, so basically in our experience, so it's really important to set up what you want to become as soon as you start. So all the stuff is put it here. Also, they are really important. What are the pain points? Who is the sponsorship? Who are the change agent? Who are those people we continue with the stuff we start? That is really important. So we are not creating dependencies with the organization. That is, in my opinion, and that is very personal. So that is bad thing. I don't like it. I don't want to work with the organization in the same problem for years. I love with work organization long time, but not with the same problem. So I want somebody taking care of what we are doing, so like that they can continue doing. We step back, we saw the results of the people doing their job, and we continue in another pain point, as you say, or another problem, or another challenge for the organization. Okay, good. Now, what happened when they decide to act? So, and that is a little bit, so we start to go to the real case right now, so with that big organization. And to give you an idea, it's an organization with 80,000 people. And this transformation is touching directly 400 people or 500 people. And it's touching talent people, change management, IT, business. So when we arrived, so they were in the transformation from 1 year. Right? So 1 year of transformation was other consulting company. So it was really funny because the people, when you talk with the people, they present the project. I'll say, yes, we are really happy. We are with the transformation from 1 year. We already have teams they call cells. And we already have providers working with us and a Scrum Master from inside the organization. They say, okay, that's nice. Let's see what we can do. And we start to meet with the leadership team. And we start to get all the pain points or all the problems. Oh, that doesn't work. So it's 1 year investing money and nothing is happening. If the value is not there. And so nobody knows what the people is doing. So we saw big virtual meeting because the PI planning, the program increment was done virtually. So we need to speak every time there are a program increment. But at the end, everyone is happy, but we are not happy. I say, okay, let's see what we have. And the teams, is what's really interesting. 100% of the team was from providers, no internal people. A Scrum Master was internal people, but without training. So they got, okay, now you are the Scrum Master. The product owner was good because it has good notion of the business, but without training product owner. So what we are doing right now. So we evaluate a little bit, so what is the scope of this change? And it was at the level of organization. And we say, okay, we need to build the team with the right skill set. And the first thing we do is say, okay, guys, if you want to do that transformation, you need those kind of people inside the organization. If not, it doesn't work. Or at least it will not work when we go out. And you don't want to pay us every single year to keep the staff working. And that is what we start to create the team of coach. And we start to looking for coach from different kind of experience. So not only coach of team, coach of organization. And again, so there are a lot of good coach of team and they can do organization. But also there are some coaches, they are very specific in team and they are not able to do organization or they don't have the experience or they don't want it. A different case, but it's really important you understand not all the coach can touch all the part of the organization. So whatever is the team or whatever is the leadership team or whatever is the change management part or the talent. So that is really important you understand that. And when you do the interview, say, okay, what do you want to do? What is your experience? Because doing Kanban or Scrum in a development team or in a talent team, a lot of people will say, oh, it's the same. But okay, but the challenges are not the same. People are different. the mindset of the people in IT is different to change management and talent. So that is something you need to keep in mind. And again, it's not bad or good or good coach. It's more like a specification of each coach. They are technical coach, and they like to be technical and they don't want to do another thing. They are coach, they want to work with teams and they don't want to work with the organization. And they are coach, they want to work in all the organization at the level of team and the level of leadership, all those stuff. So keep in mind that when you onboarding different coach for your client, and that it will be very, very important. So let's go again. So for do an exercise in Miro, and now, so let's consider the following. How to create the perfect team, which skill set is lacking, and how to make sure that everyone is engaged with the process and aligned with the objective. Those are the three things we need to keep in mind. There are a lot of stuff to keep in mind, okay? I don't say the transformation and building the team is only those three things, but those are what we thought is the more important. So, and something you need to pay attention, but of course, that doesn't mean they are the only thing you need to see, but at least they are the more important based in the experience with this client and other experience with another client. So I will go and let Gonzalo.
Okay, good. I already shared the Miro link again in the chat, so please come everyone here.
Everyone is able to see the Miro
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
we are seeing it. Okay, I will put a 6 minutes counter timer. Sorry. Okay. Let's try to answer one or all those questions. You know, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay. Let's start. So let's take a post-it and just share your thoughts here. Okay. Good. Okay. Ask questions.
Ensure training is done for all who will part of those perfect team. And in this call with a lot of certified trainers, it's important to say that it's nice to have and they need to get it. So okay, so that's good, guys. So I think so you have a good idea. So let's share what we did in this client. So they are not the only 4 things we did, okay? But those are the things we need to focus. So as always, we say to the teams, okay, focus in few things so like that you can get it done. Okay, we try to focus in those things and we got very good results. So I don't know, Gonzalo, if you want to go through the real life tips.
Okay, perfect. First, as Omar said earlier, look for people as diverse as possible in terms of skill set. There is no silver bullet here. You will need a specific team for solve specific problems. Okay, having a diverse team will help you to cover a lot of ground there. Tip number 2, allow team members freedom to choose their own responsibility. This one can be a little bit tricky, but and I honestly believe that that a person choose what work he wants to do. He will that kind of selection will keep it engaged. He will be more probably like what he's doing, so the engagement will be higher than if not. Work in pairs. This can sound very silly, but we found out that working in pairs was adding a lot of value, to our customer and to us, because we usually there we always put a domain expert. For example, if we have an analytics team that works with Kanban, so in this team we set agile coaches that were Kanban trainers, but we also have people specialized in products. For example, because we detect that the product owner lack the ability to process a backlog, to prioritize. So there, what happened in that situation is that the team learned in Kanban. The product owner become better product owner. He started to understand the role. Better user stories. But the thing that happened in the end is that was the product owner, the coach that coached the product owner learned about Kanban, and the Kanban training learned about how to be a good PO. So we were building capabilities in the organization and in our team at the same time. Okay. And tip number 4 was keep the job of the team synchronized with the contribution of the agile coaches. That's something that our client was very happy with, because independently of which agile coaches, because we work at different levels. We working somewhat with senior leadership, we working with teams, we working with product owners. So any one of them, whenever he wants to answer or whenever he wants to ask something, independently of the coach that they asked, we always gave the same answers. So I think that was a lot of value to our customer. And I think that pretty much that's it. I know, Amar, if you want to add.
Yes, it's really important. So, for example, look for diversity. So we are right to. So keep in mind, it was around 12 or 13 teams. It was 12 Scrum Master, 11 product owners, because it was one of the product owners for 2 teams. So it was around 5 or 6 coach. So we hire because we want to hire from outside. And one of the coaches was funny because one of the coach hasn't a lot of experience. And the people doesn't want to bring that coach inside. I say, yes, guys, you need to get that coach inside. But he doesn't have the experience, but he's the glue of the team. And he will become better and better because she has the right mindset and she has the capability to be the glue of the team. So you should consider that person for the potential and from what she can do right now. Right now, she's keeping the glue on the team. And they got it. They was not very convinced, but we was good advisor and they was saying, okay, we will do it. But after 3 or 4 months, they realized what it mean. Okay, it was not the more experienced coach, fine, but it was the glue of the team. So that was the lady keeping the team all together. And when something happened, they say, okay, one coach is going one direction, another coach is another direction. Say, okay, guys, that is the common goal. So it's for that it's really important. So the diversity at the level of a skill set, all those things. So we don't need for sometimes from big organization, the more experienced coach. And that was one of the challenge for the client because they want the best coach in the world. I say, okay, first of all, you have the money for that? Yes, we have the money. Good. You have all the tools to keep those people here inside the organization from 1 year? We don't know. Okay, so you need to get the coach, onboarding the coach with the right experience from the maturity level of the organization. That is key. Because if you bring all junior people, okay, you will have a problem. And if you get all senior people, you also will have a problem because you will lose it. In 6 months, normally, I'm very senior coach, very senior coach in a permanent position in a traditional organization where there are a lot of political games, you lose it. So try to put the maturity level according to what the organization has. Any question about those, at least in our case, based on experience, the four tips of focus we put in this client? It makes sense. It's something similar to what you have. There are a few things related to common goals and engage and all those stuff. They are resonate maybe, but maybe with rephrasing different way. What do you think about it? And that is the moment when you talk. Nothing to say?
Anyone?
So we working in pairs, we force the people at the beginning working in pairs. If there are any technical coach here, so I don't know if you have a technical coach in the audience, but for technical coach, they know how important is pair programming. So, and yes, Godwin.
The part of allowing people the freedom to choose their work, I know, are you talking in terms of the teams or in terms of people who are not members of the team? Because if you allow everybody to take the work they want to do, then who's going to do the difficult work, especially when you just started?
That's really good. So one of the stuff we did there, so we focus the transformation based in the strategic goals. So we define the strategic goal with the senior leadership. After that, we define how the strategic goal applies to the transformation. And after that, we define how the transformation will add value to the strategic goal. Based on that, we define the backlog of the team. So the Agile coach needs to focus in that, and that. And based on that, in the priority from leadership, so the Agile coach can choose. But for example, if you say, okay, we are 5 coach, okay, what are the top 5? Those are the top 5. You can work in the top 10, but you cannot go to the 11 if you don't finish the top 10. So that is some way to try to deal with that part. we have it. At the beginning, we didn't have it because it was a lot of fun things to do. But after 4 or 5 weeks, for some people, they start to get the dirty job or the stuff. Some people, they are not comfortable about it. So, and they say, okay, I will do it. No. That is the priority. Who is your stakeholder? Leadership team. So if they define with the head of Digital Hub the priorities, we are teaching the teams to respect the priority based in the business. Why you don't respect what you say?
Okay.
And that is what's the tricky game of wording and trying to take the same pills you are teaching the team. And so far, so we got very good results, and the people understand they need to do the dirty job also, based in priorities.
True. Makes sense.
So, and the working pairs, so as I say, so the technical people knows very well that, and sometimes developers, they are showing some kind of resistance, we can say, about pair programming and mob programming, all those things. So forcing people in a good way, that you need to do it or you are out. Not in that way, okay? The forcing, so trying to influence in that way, doing trials. So, okay, let's try that. So also work very well, principally when we pair Agile coach with different experience and we pair Agile coach with the Scrum Masters. Keep in mind, in this organization, the Scrum Master was from inside. So the experience from those Scrum Masters was not top notch. So those kind of pairing was really giving very good results. Any question so far?
One quick question.
Yes, go.
Yeah, in this number 4, keeping the job of the entire team synchronized with the completion of Agile coaches. Is it at this point where you kind of decide what cadence you want to use, what kind of are you doing Scrum or Kanban? At what point does that decision take place?
Exactly. So those decisions and also the improvement plan. So those decisions to do, okay, with this team it will be Kanban, with this team it will be Scrum. So they try to be sure they are all synchronized. So that doesn't mean every coach have to do exactly the same thing. So we try to avoid those kind of things. But for example, something happened two program increments, it was 6 months ago. So when they start, they say, okay, what we are doing with this program increment. What are the 3 things we will improve? And it was funny because it was 5 coach, and I did that question separately in 101. And it was funny, I got 15 things to improve because everyone wants to improve something. I say, guys, that doesn't work because you need to work as team. What are the 3 things or the 4 things? Put a number, not 15. So put a number and focus on improve something. Because if not, nobody will see the results. If somebody is improving different things, so nobody will read the result. And that is what I mean with that. So let's be sure so the team is focused in improving something, finish the stuff fast. Because somebody wants to say, okay, let's improve the backlog. Okay, but if you only are working in the backlog, the organization will not see the full improvement. And that means, okay, those people, they are not doing anything about the backlog. Now, if we decide as team, everyone will improve the backlog. So we will communicate that to the organization. Those are the 3 things we will improve. And after that, we will show the result. And that is a way to showing result. When you have the team working the same thing, on the same focus, and communicating the same thing to the organization, say, okay, we can evaluate. Oh, there are a lot of stuff that doesn't work. That's fine. We are improving, but those are the 3 things we improve in this program increment. They did it. So that is what is mean the number for Kotlin. It makes sense. You have something similar.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else? Okay, let's speed up. Okay, so now the team is working together around 8 months, more or less. It's dependent. So there are few people starting later So there are few people with 6 months of experience in the position or 5 months, but we can say that the team of coaches start for 8 months. So how they show the value to the organization, principally when the organization doesn't understand the role of the Agile coach, what those people they are doing, what they are getting a lot of money, what we need to pay money as a manager or a senior manager without people reporting to them. That big organization doesn't understand too much. So how we show the value of those people. And again, so we try to focus in 3 things. So to be sure we are able to show the value very quickly, and after that we can improve. So, and those 3 things we focus is identify the stakeholders and get it aligned with the value. So that is what's really, really difficult to do at the beginning. Because the stakeholders say, oh yes, I want the system working. Okay, yes, fine, but we cannot get it in 3 months. What we can get on the street in 3 months. And trying to get those aligned between different countries, because the same solution have to be used in Brazil, in Colombia, in Argentina, in Mexico, in Panama, with different contexts. That is what's one of the tricky parts. But one thing, so they align those stakeholders, what is mean the value for the next 3 months, is there where we start, oh, okay, they are doing what I want. They maybe don't reach the 100% of the goal we set up because they are improving, but they got the 80% or 85%. So the last program increment was around 85% of completion consult.
Yes, something like that.
Yes.
Yes, 80.
So it's more of 80, so that is good. So now we need to tweak and adapt. So that is really important. And again, it's not only identify stakeholder and align on value, it's keep it informed. A, you ask A, B, and C. A, we have A and B. C will be the next time. If we don't get that communication going forward, those stakeholders at very high level in very traditional organization, it's aligned very quickly. And they are able to make a backslash very quickly also, because they are the people reporting directly to the CEO. So it's very important to identify those key stakeholders. So they are exercise like the stakeholder map, they are exercise about who have to be informed and all those stuff. So they need to do it. If not, they will get a lot of backslash and the people don't understand where is the value. So the next thing is, so we need to make all the risks visible. So what is mean the risk? All. So if you already start the program implement and you know you will not finish something in the second sprint or in the third sprint, give me 1 second. I am busy. So if you cannot identify all the risks and you say, okay, in the second sprint, you already know there is some big probability you cannot finish in 3 months what you say, you need to raise your hand right away. No wait until the end. I always say to all the teams, people don't get mad because you are late. People get mad because you say at the last minute you are late. But if you raise your hand when you start to get the good feeling, that is transparency. So you put all the people on board and say, hey, I guess we cannot do it. And there is where the conversation about how I can help you. And those are the kind of conversation you need to get, because when we start to talk about value and risk, those business people start to understand what they want to do and start to understand what is the value of the people. The Agile coach, Scrum Master, and Product Owner. And the third one, let's be sure as an Agile coach, you have a very well-defined structure to escalation of the issue. So what does mean that? So if you cannot resolve the problem in 4 hours, you need to escalate. That's it. Why? Because the people want to help. So we arrived 2 times until the CEO to escalate and problem. And the CEO was really happy we escalate that because he was not aware about that. And he was the person resolving that problem. Why? Because it's a traditional organization and the hierarchy and the top down, fine. But when you understand that, you know how to escalate. And we put a maximum of 2 days to escalate a problem until the CEO. And we're transparent with the full team. The full team would say, hey, in 4 hours, we go from the Agile coach to the head of digital hub. And in 4 hours more, so we go from the head of digital hub to the vice president reporting to the CEO. And at the end of the second day, we are going to the CEO if we cannot resolve that. It was not fun. They get frustrated with us. We get tough conversation, but they got it. And the CEO was really happy. So that is really important when you go, what is the escalation process? And the escalation process should not go more of 2 or 3 days. If not, what is your value? If you cannot resolve the problem fast, what is your value? Okay, I will stop there. And what is coming? So the next, so we introduce some tools so to show the value. And those tools, they are radars and assessment, dashboard, OKRs, and survey. I will let Gonzalo to go to the Miro, so like that we show some example of what we did, and maybe you can get inspired or you can use and reuse. And after that, so we will share few more examples of what happened in our transformation. And again, the idea of sharing that is trying to inspire you or trying to give you more stuff in your toolbox. So let me put that there, Gonza. So you want to go to the tools examples?
Perfect. Yes. Yes.
Where's you here?
Okay, you're following me, right?
Yes,
yes,
I am following.
Yes, perfect. Everyone I see it. Okay. Let's start with real-time dashboard. This is a dashboard that we did with Power BI. And the outcome of this was to show the value that the teams were adding, in terms of BI increment to the senior leadership. Usually in this big organization, the senior leadership didn't want to go to Jira. They didn't like it, they didn't understand it, they didn't have credentials. So what we do here is to create this dashboard. Keep in mind that we didn't create it in a week, so we iterate like 3 or 4 times until we got something like this. First we create these indicators, showing the commitment. Then we create this other graph. Then we add the other KPIs here on the left, and in the end we add filters. So here, every member of the team and any member of the senior management will go to this board and see how things were going. So we added like extra level of transparency in terms of how each team, is working so far.
So you notice something here. First, it's very simple. There are not a lot of information, but we are not showing velocity. We are working more of 50% of the team, they are Scrum. So, but we are not showing velocity. What we learn from the experience is trying to explain velocity to business people, it can take a little bit of time. For us, it's very simple. Velocity, yes, how fast the team can burn stuff from the backlog. What is the backlog, guys?
What is burn?
Okay. Exactly. So what we find very useful is throughput and lead time. And nobody asks any question about it. So the question here is say, wow, the lead time, 102 days is too much, guy. What you are doing, can we help you? So, and those are the kind of conversation we like. For that, so the board is very simple to start, and you don't see velocity, you see throughput and lead time. Yes, Godwin.
I think it's also because of the way velocity has been timed to be. So we've all taking philosophy to be the value of productivity. And so you give it to management, they bastardize it, and they use it against you. They use it as a weapon at the end of the day. So,
Yes.
Exactly.
yeah, so that is where the case is always. They tell you, oh, increase, we want velocity to increase from 20 to 40. I can increase it by increasing the number of stories. So that gives you your increase right there, but it doesn't show that the team is working. It's just a value. It's just a gauge. So yeah.
Yes, in fact, that's an anti-pattern. I used to work in a company where the salary to a Scrum Master was paid in terms of velocity. So
Wow.
yes, incrementally, the same stories become bigger and bigger in terms of story points. So the metrics become useless at the end of the day.
I will be the bad guy of this firm, but we are a little bit pressured with the time. So
okay, let's
speed
fast.
up. But please ask the question. So we answer the question, and we are going a little bit faster.
Let's take a little bit about a radar. This radar was meant to be to a special organization, for an analytic team. And here we crafted, this radar, this dimension was crafted manually. So the question as well, but you can have some kind of subset or set or a template, for doing your own radar. But what we did here, this helps you to determine where most of the team has to focus on. So for example, here we saw that iterative development has a 4. It was the lower score. So we check, okay, so we ask the following question. How are you slicing? How are you prioritizing? Are you working? How are you writing your user stories? So this comes from point of, this was a start point to having those kind of conversation. Yes, Omar?
Yep.
You want to say something?
So keep in mind, so this one has few iterations, this product. That is not the first iteration. Don't think the first thing you have to do is unradar with all those dimensions. If you rather, the first version of your radar have 4, 5, or 6 iterations, that's fine. Let's start it, and after that you improve it. Don't wait until they get the approval to get all those dimensions. So that have 2 or 3 iterations. So we increase the not the complexities, if not the kind of information we get.
Yes, of course. Having this power, it helps you to prioritize the transformation backlog here. How to, yes.
So you got these results based out of surveys, out of Agile maturity surveys?
Yes, something like that. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we show you in this way, just because it's easy to understand here. So with this 4, we started okay, we have to coach product owner, we have to teach how to slice again, we have to teach prioritizing techniques, and we have to talk about the slicing, and all those kind of initiatives. So it was very helpful for us. Next, this is easy. I think we all use OKRs. This is an example of how these teams from Latam shows, their OKRs. The thing with OKRs is that they are a bit tricky, and I think that each organization takes, there has their own interpretation of how to work with OKRs. But the important thing here is to connect, the business strategy with the development teams. If you can do that, you will have an end-to-end process for showing the value. And as a consequence as well, the team that is developing those features will have a high engagement, because the people who is developing will see how they contribute to the strategic goal. And that is real engagement in a big organization. Okay, I'm coding a feature that will impact on in an algorithm that can save the company 1-2 billions per year. Some question here?
Godwin?
Yes. No, sorry. That was an old hand. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But
you have a question
mind,
now?
those one, they are not perfect. By definition, they are not good OKRs today. But it's the second iteration, and they are improving, and they are improving, and they are trying to align more. So that should give you an idea. So there are things they are not perfect.
Yes, in fact, the main reason that we decided to implement OKRs, I mean, it wasn't because we love OKRs or something like that. It was because the product owner wasn't having the right conversation with their stakeholders. So we introduced OKRs and with objectives align those people, who in the end are the people who are going to make the big decisions.
Good. So sorry for the speed up. And
Let's go, Omar.
the last tool, so is survey. We use the survey to get the pulse of the team. So they are very quickly things. So we can do a survey with 4 or 5 questions very quickly and put in a Slack and trying to get. That is very useful to know the pulse of the team. So we use it very often. They don't need to be very complex question or a lot of question. So only 3-4 questions very quickly to know the pulse. So they are very useful for Agile coach and for the Scrum Master to know it's happy the people. So we are going in the right direction. They are getting the things. Same with the stakeholders team to see if they are getting the value. Okay. Oof. That is the moment before to close. So I would like we take 30 seconds with annotation again, and that is the moment where we learn from you. So we would like to know a little bit. So how valuable was the time you spent with us? So this was around 60 minutes or a little bit more. So we want to be sure to know a little bit if it was a good time or not, and also a little bit of evaluation in our side. So to know if you like the facilitation. Sorry for the speed up at the end. So this was a lot of information to give, and we wanted to give it all. So, but if you like the facilitation, please let us know.
Can I see this this slide before this one, the one you had the OKRs and the radar?
Do you want it?
Yeah, can you? I just
yes.
want. Yeah.
Yes, we will send to Neilu the presentation plus the boards from Meetup. And so like that, Neilu can distribute with the people. So I don't have access to all the people, but I am sure Neilu will do it.
All right.
You can correct me, Neilu, if I am wrong.
You're not.
Okay, that's good. That is really good, guys. So happy you see that value. Let's close this one. Annotate, clear, ultra. So what is the closing part? It's a little bit a rephrase, and that is what we say at the beginning you will get. And now I will try to see if we get it or not. So as we get some kind of insight about how to get fun and work at the same time, some constraints, some requirements to really get a good job. After that, we talk about your next big transformation. Look for diversity in people, allow teams, keep the entire team synchronized. So I think those are part of the tip and example we give you in our experience and that client, and also for tools so like that you can show value. To give you an idea, so we were able to enable in the organization to $80 million in 1.5 years. Okay. So think about it, the value we capture, but they capture not us. So we were trying to capture the metrics so like that we can show it to the leadership team. But they capture $80 million validated by the CFO and their team in this part of the transformation. And they are targeting for the next 12 months, $1 billion with that ecosystem.
Wow. So
that is something you can talk about it. And you can go to the leadership team and say, that is our value. And to do that, we need to do X, Y, Z. And there you put your roadmap and your improvement plan and all the things you need to do. And I'm done.
That's That's it. Okay.
It was
That's amazing.
sorry, it was too much at the end.
Too much
No
information, I
worries.
think.
Great job, guys.